Specialized Technical Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Water, and Environment has provided strategic oversight at the political level. The whole process, which has been under the supervision of you, the Ministers of Agriculture, has now come to an end, with the Specialized Technical Committee set to present the strategy and action plan, as well as the draft declaration, to the Assembly of the Heads of State and Government. I congratulate you upon this milestone. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, with the summit set to consider and adopt the strategy and action for the period up to 2035, I wish to remind you that this will be the third in a series of 10-year Caadp strategies, and that the third biennial review of implementation of the Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Program carried out in 2023 noted that we as African countries needed to do better than we have been doing in order to achieve the targets that we set for ourselves some 20 years back, that is in the year 2003. Therefore, I want to urge you as sector ministers across the continent to continue to guide us on where we need to readjust in order for us to meet our own targets. You will note that Caadp is one of the strategies towards the realization of the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. And therefore, let us work deliberately to get what we want as a continent. As a continent's agriculture sector ministers, I urge you to deliberately work to reduce Africa's over-reliance on food imports from outside the continent. We must position the continent in such a manner that our agriculture sector is resilient to climate change as well as other shocks, and is adaptive to advances in technology. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the African Development Bank report indicates that more than 60% of the Africa's working population is engaged in agriculture. Number two, that the soil across most of the continent is rich and fertile. Number three, that the Africa has 65% of the world's remaining uncultivated arable land, and that Africa can or has abundant fresh water with enough rainfall and a good number of days of sunshine each year. Yet, in 2021, Africa's food imports were about $100 billion, fueled mainly by the population growth. What a shame that a continent that was gifted by God with such a proportion of the world's arable land and fertile land is experiencing such a trend in food imports. This session of this summit should come up with concrete proposals on how Africa can come out of such an undesirable situation. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, for us to guarantee our future as Africans, we must feed ourselves. The process of drafting and adopting the strategy and action plan is now coming to an end. I urge you to now focus your energies on implementation. And this will be a combined effort from national to regional and continental levels. Let us work together in a complementary way to deliver the Africa we want. Let me close my remarks by putting forward a few areas of my concern. One, there is need for policy reviews for food security and nutrition. Number two, investing in research for improved seeds and livestock. Number three, we need to consider disease control. Number four, investment in irrigation and mechanization is a must to mitigate climate change and enhance production. Number four, in order to align the African population, we need to mobilize them for production, productivity, and profitability. As Africa, that's number six, we must remain focused to the fact that regional trade has the potential to back regional and national development, and that it can lead to greater economic and political cooperation. Avoid trade barriers. We need each other for development. We must take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is about 1.5 billion people, COMESA, ECOWAS, and the East African Community, and stop exporting raw materials and add value to our agricultural products, such as coffee, cocoa, tea, milk, to mention but a few. Why not export finished and blended products from Africa? Why not? With these remarks, it is now my singular duty and honor to declare this ministerial session of the African Union Extraordinary Assembly of Heads of State and Government on the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program officially open for God and my country.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Prime Minister, for your opening remarks. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, now we kindly invite Right Honorable Robina Nabanja, Prime Minister of Republic of Uganda, former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, and all excellencies, heads of delegation, to accompany the Right Honorable Prime Minister of Uganda to a group photo. Please take note. As a sign of respect, we will only expect the heads of delegation to be on the group photo. The rest of us should freely be seated as a sign of respect until all our leaders have exited the room. Then we can exit for a healthy break. Further, kindly take note that we shall be expected to resume the meeting in 20 minutes as a closed session, and only those who are supposed to participate in the closed session will be expected back in the room. I thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, sir. I'm good. How are you? Yeah. Where is it? So back in Caadp. Just arrived. So it's miss the photo when he's around. Yes, sir. I will tell him. I will tell him.